This weekend I went to the cinema and saw Obsession. Some weeks after it's been released, I was finally able to go and see the sensational horror hit. It's written and directed by Kerry Barker, a new director working on his first professional level feature film, as far as I'm aware. And it's the story of Bear, a young man who is secretly in love with his female best friend Nikki. The two work together in a music shop, along with two other friends, and he's been harbouring his feelings for some time, trying to work up the nerve to ask her out and declare his feelings for her, but just cannot get the words out. While visiting a crystal shop to buy her a gift, he is diverted and winds up buying something called a one-wish willow, which supposedly is a stick which, if broken, will grant the user an actual real wish. And after failing to tell her how he feels, he says that he wishes that she loved him more than anything else in the world. And immediately that comes true and has very rapid, very horrible consequences for Bear and everyone he knows. The movie was made for $750,000. It was picked up by Focus Features, the division of Universal, for $15 million, and it has now made more than $300 million worldwide, including outgrossing the new Star Wars film, both in the US and globally. It's a smart movie. It's very thoughtfully made with great craftsmanship. Barker is clearly, he knows exactly what he's doing. The editing and the photography are very thoughtful and careful in creating mood, creating the atmosphere. He clearly knows his horror, and he clearly knows how, on a technical level, to create the mood that he wants. But it's also a very smart film on a script level. Bear is a manipulator. I've seen compared to in reviews as being an incel, which is not quite correct, but he's definitely a very toxic individual with a sense of entitlement that, well, I love you, why won't you love me? And his control and his manipulation of Nikki is never allowed to slide. No matter how extreme her behavior gets, he always is attempting to make their relationship work rather than trying to do anything to reverse it. And when he finally does attempt to do so and calls the number on the box, he gets through to a supremely disinterested call center that tells him, yeah, there's basically nothing you can do. A brilliant cameo performance by Barker himself as the voice could not be more disinterested in his plight and fully aware that there's some kind of supernatural force involved. There are some great scare moments. I definitely jumped to my surprise at least once, but it's the psychological aspect of both of this situation and of the quiet horror of Bear's personality, that he sees nothing inherently wrong with his abuse and his manipulation of his best friend like this, because he feels entitled to her love. That, I think, has really struck a chord with audiences. I noticed that when I went to see it, it was a very young audience, mostly in their 20s, on a Friday night. And I think this is an example, for the first time, of a major movie release of the generation that came of age around COVID is now making movies and able to talk to that same generation. This is the first time that's happened, and it's really broken through with something that generation is talking about that older generations aren't. And I think, in particular, there's a moment where Bear is researching One Wish Willow online, and he uses an AI to try and gather information. I've never seen that in a major film to date, and I think that's showing that's what young people do now. They use AI and LLMs as search engines. But it's a very smart, it's a very current, very new film. The performances are superb. Of the cast, there's only one person I recognize, Andy Richter. Normally, a comedy actor plays the manager of the music store, who is in a couple of scenes and is a sort of a pleasant, well-meaning background character, a well-liked boss. But it's the two main performances by Michael Johnston and Inde Navarrette that are superb. Navarrette is astonishing. This is her first major film role. She's had a number of film roles. She's had roles on television. She was a regular in Superman and Lois, so a significant network TV show. But this is her first big showcase, and constantly switching between modes and moods and tones on a dime, within shots, within seconds, within the blink of an eye. It's an astonishingly adept um, technical performance, but showing great depth and personality, and it's really remarkable. Johnston has perhaps the harder role because Bear is a softer, quieter character on screen, and we have to, through Johnston's performance, see how sickening that character is, how brutal and cold and unfeeling and self-pitying, and done very quietly and subtly. They're two brilliant performers matching each other. I think both deserve massive career bumps from this. Barker himself has already shot his next film, which might well be released before the end of the year. And he signed on to revive the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. It's a series that has long been a bugbear of mine because I feel it's a great idea where almost every movie has been terrible. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is the worst film I've ever seen. I think that with a talent like Barker working on it, it has the potential to be something, at the very least, very interesting, if not genuinely good. Obsession is a remarkable calling card. It's one of the best films I've seen this year. Um, Thrilling, engaging, often funny, very, very intelligent, very, very empathetic, and showing the price or the cost of having no empathy. It's a terrific film, very highly recommended.